Coming up on Network Africa. Opposition candidate Felix Tshisekedi declared winner of the presidential election in the Democratic Republic of Congo. South Africa's Independent Electoral Commission launches its 2019 national and provincial election campaign. And doctors in Zimbabwe end strike without reaching a deal with the government. Hello and welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Teniola Shubowale. We begin in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where numerous reactions have been trailing the Electoral Commission's announcement of results in the presidential elections. Late Wednesday night, opposition leader Felix Tshisekedi was said to be leading in the race with 7 million votes. Security forces are reportedly clamping down on supporters of another opposition candidate, Martin Fayulu, who so far garnered 6.4 million votes, who have been out on the streets protesting the result. Crowds reportedly attacked symbols of governments in the southwestern town of Kikwit in Kinshasa. 2 people were reportedly killed in Mali. The African Union has called for the dispute over the results to be resolved peacefully. AU Commission Chief Musa Faki Mohammed said in a statement that it is important for any disagreement over the proclaimed results to be resolved peacefully by turning to the relevant laws and through political dialogue between the parties involved. The EU also says it has taken note of the result and is waiting for reactions of different observation missions that observed the election. And South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on the Electoral Commission to finalize the election process with speed to ensure the credibility of the poll and to maintain peace and stability. The Electoral Commission's result puts Felix Tshisekedi ahead of rival opposition candidate Martin Fayulu. Mr. Tshisekedi is the first opposition challenger to win since the country gained independence from Belgium in 1960. Current President Joseph Kabila is stepping down after 18 years in office.
2 years since preparations began for a presidential election, the Democratic Republic of Congo can now boast of a new president in person of Felix Tshisekedi. It will be the first time the opposition candidate would win in a presidential election in the country. People stayed up till late Wednesday night to listen to the Electoral Commission declare Felix Antoine Tshisekedi the winner of a disorganized and contentious presidential election. The reaction, jubilation, as Tshisekedi supporters filled streets of the capital Kinshasa, Bukavu City, and even the volatile region of North Kivu. Thousands danced in his Limete neighborhood, chanting that Congo had turned the page on the Kabila era. Upon the declaration of his victory, the president-elect paid his respects to outgoing President Joseph Kabila, whom he described as a partner in democratic change.
First of all, I wish to thank God, the master of time and circumstances. I know many of you find it hard to accept, but I say it with sincerity. I pay homage to President Joseph Kabila, President of the Republic. We must no longer consider each other as adversaries, but rather as partners in democratic change in our country.
Tshisekedi is the leader of the Union for Democracy and Social Progress, which is also the oldest and largest opposition party of the DR Congo. The Election Commission says he won with 38.57% of more than 18 million ballots cast. However, the runner-up in the vote dismisses the results, calling it an electoral coup. Opposition candidate Martin Fayulu called on election observers from Congo's influential Catholic church Senko to reveal the name of the winner their own voting counting produced. According to them, vote tallies collected showed Fayulu winning. Mr. Fayulu's camp alleges that Tshisekedi won by cutting a power-sharing deal with Kabila. France and former colonial ruler Belgium also questioned the outcome. The French foreign minister said the surprise victory was at odds with what was seen on ground. Felix Tshisekedi is the son of late veteran opposition leader Etienne Tshisekedi, who died in 2017. He backed out of an opposition deal to have Martin Fayulu as unity candidate, ran on his own ticket with the backing of politician Vital Kamerhe, and is promising to make the fight against poverty his priority. The Constitutional Court now has 10 days to confirm him as winner, and if that happens, it will set the stage for the first democratic transfer of power in the DRC.
Joining us now to give us more insights on the situation at hand is VOA's correspondent Anastasia Tudiheshi. Hello, Anastasia. The DRC finally has a new president, and he's not Joseph Kabila's pick. What is the mood like right now in the country?
The situation is pretty tense in the country today, especially after Senko organized a press conference to say that the results published yesterday did not match what they came up with as far as counting the votes is concerned. So, and also today we have learned that there has been fights in different parts of the city between youth from UDPS and Lamuka, the two opposition parties, each camp fighting for its candidate. The purpose of the fight was who is the winner of the election.
Other opposition candidate, Martin Fayulu, claims he won. Well, he's going by the church's, Catholic Church's vote count, which cannot be validated. But what does the Electoral Commission intend to do about votes collated by the church?
As far as I know, not much. The Electoral Commission keeps saying that they are the one who are habilitated to give the numbers and the names, and they will go by that.
Well, the Constitutional Court now has 10 days to confirm victory. What happens if the results are protested against and the electoral has post-electoral matters to deal with?
Well, if anyone protests the result, they have 48 hours to do so. And from that protest, the Constitutional Court will decide whether or not the request is right.
Well, Anastasia, I know this affected you quite a bit. Is it true that the internet and communication has been restored in the country?
Well, the rumor says, and I think I don't feel good, reporting a rumor, but that's what he said in the street today. The rumor says that internet will come back tonight. It will be restored tonight.
VOA's correspondent Anastasia Tudiheshi, thank you for joining us on Network Africa. Now we move on to where we have Dr. Okwi Okpala, an African Affairs analyst in the studio, to further discuss this with us. Hello, sir, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, Felix Tshisekedi is the new president of DR Congo. Many are surprised. Are you surprised?
Well, yes and no. Yes, because he's the leader of the largest and the oldest opposition. His father had a pedigree. He's one of the most known candidates, especially outside DR Congo. So, I mean, a good number of observers from outside was expecting that, well, he would do well in the polls. However, the polling that happened just before the election, Martin Fayulu is ahead. So, I mean, in as much as we say, oh, he's a very he's a well-known person, his party is more known and older, therefore you cannot rule him out. But if you take the latest polls that happened before the election, you will say, oh, it's possible for him to lose. So it's not a big surprise, but then it's not a big surprise. But then, I mean, one can equally imagine that he will lose.
So what do you make of the accusations that Tshisekedi struck a power-sharing deal with Kabila?
Well, it may be true, Because if you look at what happened, there was a delay. And most people are attributing the delay both in having the post itself and also in announcing the result as a means of, a way Kabila is used to, the time that Kabila was using to negotiate the power sharing agreement. And even Martin Fulu says so. He even alerted the public that, it appears. And, if you remember too, that initially the opposition were trying to unite behind Martin Fulu, but which Kabila, Felix Tshisekedi walked out of and then contested as a candidate. So, it's possible. It's possible. And then even immediately the elections was announced, the result was announced, he paid unusual tribute to Kabila, which normally before now, it wasn't, being a main opposition, they always hit at each other. And but then now he's beginning to recognize, although you can also say that when a candidate, when you emerge, you are likely going to be the president of everybody, so you don't have to continue as if you are campaigning. But the switch is too fast that some people are suspecting, maybe there's a deal.
Well, Martin Fayulu calls the result an electoral coup. Why is it a trend in Africa that electoral candidates always dispute the results when they lose, when they come together and appreciate that an opposition has won?
You see, we cannot say, sometimes there are bad losers in Africa, but most of the time also, you see that the system is skewed towards a particular candidate. And most African leaders don't allow things to play out just the way people want it. They have a vested interest in a particular candidate or the other candidate, and they do everything. They use the state apparatus, the electoral, even suppression to make sure that their preferred candidate wins. And most of the time, when you beat somebody, you expect him to cry. So it's not as if most of the cases that people complain that they are just being bad losers. A good number of the cases, a good number of elections that happen in Africa, there is already a known outcome, a preferred outcome, which the sitting government wants to enforce.
Okay, let's bring it back to the Catholic Church. The results that they collated shows that Martin Fayulu won, according to them. Should the vote collated by the Catholic Church be ignored here, or does it point out the irregularities?
The Catholic Church is a very powerful stakeholder in DR Congo. And they have structures down to the minutest community. So, you cannot just dismiss it. But you cannot also say that it should be taken in place of the official results. What happened? And then, well, if the electoral body wants to do a good job, the electoral body they are manned by human beings who can make mistakes. What is happening that, let them come forward with their figures and you cross-check. And everybody will see, the Catholic Church, who are, by the way, are observers in the election, official observers in the election, we see, we went wrong here, and then, because it's the same election, the same figures for polling booths. It's collation that is the issue. So it's not difficult to resolve within the 10 days before the result is confirmed.
Okay, let's talk about Felix Tshisekedi, the man of the hour, the president-elect. He's always kind of been in the shadow of his father, and critics have, said that he's not right for the position. Do you think he will make a good president?
Well, the test of the pudding is in the eating. You see, you don't always know the person who will do well by maybe the way he talks, the way he presents himself. It's when he begins to act. I have the opportunity of looking at some of his manifesto, and I think he has a good plan. The plans are not bad if he will implement them. However, the thing is, can he deal with vested interests that want to, can he free himself? For instance, if there is anything like agreement, can he free himself from the hold of the current government, supposedly, and then do things that he thinks that is in the best interest of the citizens.
Yeah.
But to look at him and say, oh, because he has not held high-profile positions, because he's not as charismatic as Tieni, his father,
yeah.
that, oh, we cannot do well. No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have, even people who are quiet may be good performers. Those who can talk and then dominate discussions may actually, when it comes to, when they are tested, you see that, I mean, it's all talk but no action.
We'll just have to wait and see. Dr. Okriokpala, African Affairs Analyst. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you so much.
Still to come on the program,